Good afternoon, one and all. I am Dr. Prabhu Benkop, Principal of Methodist College of Engineering and Technology, Abids, Hyderabad. I heartily welcome all the participants, faculty members, and students for today's webinar on how to use CAD tools to enhance the teaching learning experience in kinematics of machines, which is being conducted by Department of Mechanical Engineering, Methodist College of Engineering and Technology. During this Corona COVID-19, we need to utilize this period more effectively for our academic developments and resource sharing. So I appreciate our faculty of mechanical engineering to use this period very effectively, and they have planned to conduct many webinars. This is one among them. In the today's webinar, that is the use of CAD tools to enhance the teaching learning experience, the kinematics and mechanics, which is the speaker for this webinar is Professor Srikant R. He is well versed with CAD tools, who has got an experience of nearly 10 to 15 years in the field of CAD tools and software design and all like. The duration of this webinar is approximately 2.5 hours to 3 hours with hands-on experience on CAD tools. In turn, helps all the teachers to update their knowledge, and they can effectively teach there in the parent institutes. Our students also, the main objective of this seminar webinar is to share this information to the student community also. I hope all our students and faculty will utilize this session more effectively. I request our beloved director, Dr. Lakshmipati Rao, to brief about our institute and mention the developmental activities which are taking place since the last 10 years in our institute. I request Professor Lakshmipati Rao to continue.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
On behalf of Methodist College of Engineering and Technology, I extend a warm welcome to all the registered participants. And I'm happy to know that there is overwhelming response for this webinar. Now I would like to briefly tell about the Methodist College of Engineering and Technology. Methodist College of Engineering and Technology, it was started in 2008 and is 11 years old. In fact, our mechanical engineering department is started in 2009, and this college is run by Mr. K. Krishna Rao, the correspondent, who is having vast experience in running engineering colleges for over 25 years. Even Stanley College of Engineering and Technology for Women is also run by the same management. And this college is affiliated to Osmania University, and it offers 5 programs in BE, that is ECE, EEE, Civil, CSC, Mechanical. And it also offers ME in 3 branches and MBA program. This college is only 11 years old. It has bagged 4 gold medals, out of which 3 are from Mechanical Engineering Department. We are proud to share this information because this speaks about the quality of education offered at Methodist College of Engineering and Technology. And Methodist College Mechanical Engineering Department is recognized as a research center for carrying out PhD work by Osmania University. And 6 of our faculty members are having PhD degree. And in our college, the faculty have 5 patents to their credits. Very recently, 3 of our students are associated with the publication of a patent on solar-powered hybrid energy bank. And during COVID time, our students are associated with the design of a robot that can serve the corona patients, and this robot is presented to an hospital in Nellore through the district collector. And mechanical students are very active in other activities, co-curricular activities. They participated in many events, some of them being the go-kart event at national level, and they brought laurels to themselves and also to the college. And last year, we had a course on electric vehicle, which is for about 100 hours spread over 2 semesters, and we have successfully completed that program with MOU from a Delhi organization. And our college has applied for accreditation both by NBA and NAAC, and all formalities are completed, and we are waiting for the visit by both NAAC and as well as NBA. The total strength of the college is about 2,000. And before starting today's webinar organized by Mechanical Engineering Department, I would like to share a few of my ideas during these hard times of lockdown and COVID. Though everybody is affected by COVID very badly, there are lots of gains also, especially for faculty members working in various colleges. Thanks to COVID, all the faculty are forced to engage in online teaching and learning methods using various platforms available. So we were talking about usage of ICT in teaching learning process. All these days, now during the lockdown, we are really using the ICT methods for teaching and learning. Another gain for faculty, massive online courses offered by various prestigious organizations and institutions free of cost. Further, during the lockdown period, faculty have the golden opportunity of upgrading their knowledge by participating in various FTPs organized by AICTE and other prestigious organizations, and also webinars organized online. And remember, everything free of cost. Sky is the limit for the learning process for the faculty. Educationalists from all over the world are saying that there will be a major transformation in the teaching learning process in the post-lockdown period. During the next academic year, all the faculty should be mentally prepared and gear up to the ever-changing scenario in the teaching learning methods. Otherwise, we become obsolete and feel isolated. Future belongs to blended teaching. Classroom teaching should be supplemented with the online teaching learning process. Otherwise, there is no future for us. MCETE is fully geared up for the ongoing changes in online learning. In line with this, Mechanical Engineering Department is organizing today's webinar. Now, I request the HOD of Mechanical Engineering Department, Dr. Rajsekhar, to say a few words about the webinar, and then we start the webinar by Mr. Srikanth. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Audible? Hello?
Yeah, it's audible.
Yeah. Good morning to all the participants, and thank you very much, sir, Principal sir, Dr. Prabhu Benkap sir,
Yes,
and Director sir, for the welcoming the session, all the participants, and also a nice introduction about the department from our Director sir. Thank you very much, sir. This webinar, enhancing teaching learning skills using CAD tools in the kinematics of machines, it is a I can say it is a one among the web series which are planned how to utilize these CAD tools in enhancing the teaching learning of some of the mechanical engineering subjects like AutoCAD, like machine drawing, engineering graphics. All these subjects also how to learn using these CAD tools. This is already planned by our today's speaker, Professor Srikanth Rangdal, who is having vast experience in the CAD/CAM technologies and also developing of various modules, teaching and learning modules, especially for the subjects related to CAD/CAM technologies. And already, as Principal sir, Director sir has already given about the department briefly has given the background about the department. Mechanical department is running BE as well as ME courses with 120 intake in the BE and 18 intake in the ME CAD/CAM specialization. We are totally around 26 faculty members are there. Out of that, 6 faculty members already doctorates are there, and almost 50% of the faculty members, they have some industrial exposure before coming to the teaching field. So this gives us an edge over the in delivering the subject efficiently to the students. So as a part of this webinars during this lockdown period, today we have planned this webinar on teaching learning, enhancing the teaching learning skills using these CAD tools, especially how to handle this kinematics of machine subject. So on this topic, now Srikanth will deliver his lecture. And thank you all of you for participating in these things. As I said, this is going to be a series, web series, like most of the people are knowing, maybe engaged in other web series, but this is a web series of mechanical engineering where we can enhance our teaching learning experiences using these CAD tools. Now I request Mr. Srikanth to take over and then start the lecture. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your kind words. I'm humbled, and without waiting further, let us start with our session for today. Okay, so hope you can all see this screen. This is called as Onshape. Now, before Onshape, many of the CAD softwares were offline. I think AutoCAD was the first software to come along CAD, which was able to collect most of the commonly used commands under one roof and be released as a professional software that any designer could use. Later on, many other softwares tried to improve upon AutoCAD, and we got parametric software. So,
Srikanth, excuse me, the figures are not clear. You see, figures are not clear.
Sir, this depends on the speed which we have for internet, sir. When I open a particular model, I think it will be more clear. I'm just introducing it right now.
Share screen is there, no? This option you can have it.
While sharing the screen, if I share directly, if I improve upon the quality, then speed will be affected. So that's the main problem.
Okay. No problem. Start, sir. Start. Okay.
So I think you already know about different softwares like SolidWorks, CATIA, Unigraphics, and other softwares. And even though these softwares are much more capable, there is a very big problem with these software, and the main problem is that they require heavy licenses, which are very difficult to get. They are very costly, and all the students cannot afford to get them. So in this light, I was always looking for a software which was not only freely available to the students, which they should be they should be able to access anywhere, but also should have flexibility of letting them design everything with whatever this device they had available to them. So this landed me first with AutoCAD, and in AutoCAD I started designing most of these models, which I uploaded later, and with an app which is available on mobile. It's called AutoCAD 360. It's available on iOS as well as on Android. With this app, I was able to share those models to the students. and the students could, rotate and watch them from different directions. But later on, since AutoCAD is not a parametric software, the students were unable to move these mechanisms and see how these mechanisms move. And that is what put me on a journey to discover better methods, better softwares that are not only capable of showing the students how the objects behave in 3D, but also allow them to interact with it and be able to model the models with complete functionality wherever they want to do it. And that's how I came upon Onshape. Now, Onshape is a software which was developed by the same people who developed SolidWorks. They left the SolidWorks. Dassault Systems is the company which developed SolidWorks. So these people actually worked for Dassault Systems to develop SolidWorks before they left the company, Dassault Systems, and started their own venture, which is called Onshape. So this is what is the software that you can see. And I have opened a small model which is called as a 4-bar mechanism. Now in the textbook, when we see this 4-bar mechanism is shown by 4 set of lines joining at corners. Joining at corners. But the students are unable to see how to operate it. So that's where this software comes to our help. Just a minute, sir. There's a problem with. Yeah. So let us see how to operate this mechanism now. Now here you can see this particular link. A bit clunky to work on desktop. Yeah. So here on the left side, you can see the navigation bar, which is showing me how many parts are there in this. And at the bottom, we can see the different constraints. I think in the video, it's not clearly visible. The names are not visible, but you can make out where they are on the screen. If you make an account, which is similar to making a Gmail account, just the way you fill a form, a small form for creating a Gmail, you can just go to onshape.com and go to sign up. And you will be presented with a form which you can fill, and a free account for Onshape will be created for you. There is also an app which you can use on mobile. You can download it from Play Store or iOS Store, Apple Store, and you will be ready to use the software on mobile as well. So let me go ahead and show you how this mechanism can be functioned. So one of the links, the yellow one which we can see here, has been fixed, and the other links can move. I just have to select one of the links and start rotating it. Fine. So the students can do this, can operate this mechanism very easily on their desktop, on their laptop, or on their mobile very easily. At the end of, near the end of this webinar, if possible, I'll open it up on my mobile and try to show you how it functions in the mobile as well. For now, we'll proceed with the desktop version. So you can see the motion, how it is operated. You can also make it to happen automatically. If we just right click here, and there will be an option called animate. And if I just give some inputs and press on play, the mechanism starts functioning automatically. The student don't have to operate anything any further. So this is one way to see the animation. Yeah. So to some of you, the screen may not be as clear But as I told, the screen resolution depends on the internet speed that you have. If you are getting it not very clear, I suggest that you shift to a better place or try to restart your mobile and try to log in back again. This usually helps because many of those apps will be using internet on the background, which might slow the internet down for a few members. Here, okay, so I'll just proceed with this. Anyway, the recording of this video will also be uploaded to YouTube, so you can have a look at it when you're at leisure. Now, let us try to look at another inversion of the same mechanism. Now, you might be knowing, if you are good with kinematics, that same kinematic chain can provide us with 4 different inversions, each of them having unique capabilities. So if I just want to change it to a different inversion, all I have to do is change this fixed link. I have to unfix the yellow link and fix some other link in return. So let me fix the red one. And now if I animate it, I'll have a completely different kind of mechanism available to me. So the links that I have used, they are the same. There is no difference in the dimensions, and there is no difference in the kind of links, the kind of joints that we have provided. But with the same links and the same joints, just by changing the frame is the link which is fixed. So just by fixing another link instead of the previous, you will get the different inversions. Now, this is a very simple one. Even though if the students are able to understand it, most of my students felt a lot of difficulty in understanding some of the special cases of the mechanisms. Like the parallel crank, which is much simpler. Let us go for another one, which is called as the deltoid linkage. This is the one which most of the students felt a lot of difficulty understanding. So this is the one. Let us try to see in animation. When we see this in animation, you can see how the mechanism is moving. Even though the textbooks try to explain this by putting up some diagrams, the students feel it a lot difficult to understand how the mechanism will be moving in actual case. So by using this Onshape, you can see on the screen how easily the motion of this mechanism can be shown to the students. Now imagine if the same mechanism is available to each and every student in their pocket, wherever they are going, and they can open it up anytime while walking, while going in the bus, or just sitting to have a chat, or whenever they find any time, and they just open up and try playing with it. Their imagination, not only their imagination will develop, but they will have a lot better understanding of these mechanisms by having a look at them in their complete functionality, rather than just having a look at 1 or 2 diagrams and trying to imagine how they might be functioning in actual sense. So this is one of the examples. This is a 4-bar mechanism. There are many such mechanisms that I have created in kinematics in the Onshape, and I have kept them ready for the students. So whenever I go to the class, I just have to share these mechanisms to the students. You can just open it whenever they want, and take a look at them. So 2 more such mechanisms I will be showing a demo for here right now. Let's next go for a little more complicated mechanism, that is the slider crank. Now slider crank mechanism, as you might be knowing, it has a slider, a coupler, and a crank. Now this is the first inversion, the simplest one, wherein the yellow link will be fixed, and you can see the animation how it operates. Okay. You can see the red link, which is working as a crank, rotating complete 360 degrees. And the slider, which is the green part, is sliding over the yellow one. And the coupler is the one ensuring constant distance between the other side of red link and the slider. So this is the first inversion, which is pretty easy to understand. Let's now go for the next one. Speed of the animation can be controlled by using a value here, which is called as the steps. Right now the steps are 300. So if I want it to be slower, I can increase the number of steps. Okay, some of the faculties are facing some questions. Some questions are coming up with the chat window. And I think it will be best if we handle all the doubts at the end of the meeting. Towards the end of the meeting, near about 10 minutes, you can start raising your hands and we will try to clarify your doubts one by one. In the middle, it may not be possible for us to stop the video. Okay, so let me proceed it further. Next, let us go to the Whitworth mechanism, which is the second inversion of this. Once again, here the red link will be the one which is fixed, and the pink link we will be evolving it. So let's animate it. And as you can see, here the angle that is starting angle is 0, ending angle is 360. If I want to rotate for more number of angles, then just multiply 5 here. It may not be visible to most of you, but you can just listen to what I'm talking and accordingly try to understand it. So when I play the button, it starts moving. So this last link, I wasn't able to constrain it yet. It's still a work in progress. I'll have to do it later. Let's go ahead for the third one. This is called as the oscillating cylinder. The pink link is a fixed one. Let us now try to animate. Just multiply 5 times, 5 rotations. Okay. Here you can see this green slider that we have here, which is a representation of the cylinder, is oscillating at its own point, and the red link is working as a crank moving around, while the yellow link is just sliding inside the oscillator. The last one is a special case of the oscillating cylinder mechanism. This is called as a slotted lever mechanism. Let us just have a look at it in animation as well. So this is how the motion occurs. And here you can clearly see that even though the red link is moving at a constant speed, the oscillation that is happening on the green link is not constant. While moving back, it's moving very slowly. While moving forward, it's happening very fast. So this is why it is called as a quick return mechanism. So instead of just showing a few diagrams in the textbook and trying to explain them how it functions, if they are actually seeing them, seeing the mechanism in action, I think the students can have a better understanding of how the mechanism functions like. And also they can extend this mechanism further to make their own creative other mechanisms so that those can be used in machineries machineries that they might have in mind, they might want to design themselves. This last inversion is called a hand pump. In this one, the green link is the one which is fixed, and this works as a handle, and you can see how it is sliding out and in to this. Now, on all these inversions, the basic structure, the length between the joints has been the same, whereas some slight modifications have been provided to some of the links to get additional working benefits. I think the software makes it a lot clear about how the mechanism functions and how the different linkages are modified so that the functionality of the mechanism becomes very easy to observe. Let's now go to the next one, which is much more challenging for the students to understand, and that is the double slider mechanism. Now, the first inversion of this double slider mechanism is called as this elliptical trammel. You can see the green part is having some slots inside, and there are two sliders which can slide inside these two parts. Fine. So this is how they have been designed and constrained properly. So let us see how this functions. I can just drag it on the screen by holding it with my mouse with the left click. Or if I wanted to rotate with constant speed, I can always go on the left side to the menu, click on animate, provide the angle by which it should animate and the number of steps it will take to animate, and just click on the play button. And it will start showing the animation. So this mechanism is almost, it's simpler, and many of the people were able to make the physical models of this also, and their videos are available on YouTube for the students to see and learn from it. The challenging part is the last inversion, which is called as the Oldham's coupling. So I myself as a student, whenever I used to observe an Oldham's coupling, I used to wonder how this mechanism, which looks so different from the double slider mechanism that we see around here, the elliptical trammel, a mechanism which looks so different from the actual mechanism, how can that be an inversion of the same mechanism? So this was a doubt which always kept me thinking. And with Onshape, I was finally able to make the students understand, not only the students, even I myself gained a lot better understanding of how this completely different looking mechanism is an inversion of the same that we are learning, that is the double slider mechanism. Let us see how this mechanism functions as well. Just animate it. 5 rotations and 300 steps. Okay. So here you can see that I have placed an elliptical trammel, that is a double slider mechanism, also have placed here within the Oldham's coupling, even though that is not how it is shown in the textbook. This is done so that the student can understand how the parts are actually moving. So the parts of the elliptical trammel have been constrained along with the parts that we see around here. For example, the red shaft that is rotating here has been constrained with the red slider that we see over here. So as this shaft is rotating, the same kind of motion is exhibited by this inner slider. And there's another slider which is constrained with this other shaft. So they both are complementary to each other. Whereas this fixed green link is complementary to the last sliding block, which I have hidden for now. When I show it, this is how it appears. You can just hide the parts which I don't want to see. And here I have the Oldham's coupling without the double slider mechanism. Let's just take a look at it, how it rotates before moving further. I'll animate it for 5 rotations and I'll play it. So you can see while it is rotating, you can also rotate and watch the mechanism from different angles to check out how the mechanism is behaving. I have turned one of these links slightly transparent so that you can see from inside of that how the mechanisms are locking over to each other. So this is an Oldham's coupling. As you can see, almost all the different kinds of mechanisms can be built here in the OnShift, and sorry, and you can watch them live in action interactively on your mobile or on desktop, so that you get a much better understanding of how these models are behaving. Of course, the same models, once they are perfect, can be supplied to the students, and using these dimensions, the student can actually make a physical model which can be kept in the lab for other students to observe. That's what is our plan. That's what is our next plan. Once all the designs are ready, we will provide students with the task of making them into a physical model. And we will be calling them as micro projects. Mini projects and major projects, they will be doing in the final years as usual. But there is a requirement for something like micro projects, is what I feel, which will not only make the students grasp the subject knowledge and be able to attempt the question paper in the exams, but also gain that spirit of actually making the mechanisms, physically making the mechanisms and interacting with them. That's the spirit which I believe is lacking in the students who are passing out of the colleges. Most of the students who are passing out of the colleges nowadays. And OnShift, we can see it provides us with a very powerful tool to us, which not only lets them interactively watch these wherever they want, whenever they want, but also to help them attempt the question paper, which they anyway have to deal with as a part of the Indian education system, the current education system. Okay, so let us move ahead. And let's take a look at some other mechanisms. Like here I have the Poiseuille mechanism, which is a straight line mechanism, an exact straight line mechanism. And this is how it looks like. And this is how it functions. I'm just dragging the mouse. I've clicked on the link and I'm dragging the mouse, and it is showing me the motion of the different linkages. Now this part here that you see here, this part travels along a straight line. This always travels along a straight line. Now there is also a proof for this. There is a geometric proof of this, which is available in the textbook, which proves that the point definitely travels along the straight line. In any position, this point is always along the straight path, the straight vertical path that is defined here. So there are two versions of this Poiseuille mechanism as well that I'd like to show you. The other one is over here, the inside assembly. Now this mechanism, when you look at it for the first time, you may not think that it is a Poiseuille mechanism. But when you see it in action, you start observing that the mechanism indeed is very, very similar to the Poiseuille. In fact, this particular set of dimensions have an added benefit that we are able to get much longer path, longer straight line path when compared to the length of the path which we got with this version of it. The length of the linkages are very, very long, and the path, the straight line path that we get is having much more limit. So this is the maximum extent to which we can go till these 2 points meet exactly. That's the maximum we can go for this mechanism. Whereas here, when you see this, you can just see that the reach of this is much more when compared to the length of links that we have around here. So the students can experiment with different length of linkages while trying to maintain the minimum requirements of making the Poiseuille mechanism, and try to see how the motion of the mechanism, how its limits and how its functionality is varied when they change the different dimensions. So this kind of experimental way of learning I feel, is much better way of dealing with engineering studies than merely going through the books and trying to attempt some questions in a 3-hour session at the end of a semester. So next, there are many such simple straight line mechanisms that I have done. One such is the Hart's mechanism. So this one is a Hart's mechanism. This is again an exact straight line mechanism. Sorry. And you can see how the motion of this linkage happens. Okay. So this point that we see around here, the center of this circle is what is moving in a straight line that is perpendicular to this line which is extended. So let's have a look at it once again. You can see that the line is tracing almost a straight line, an exactly straight line. And also for this as well, we have a proof in the textbook which proves that geometrically at any given position, this point always is on a straight vertical path. So this was how the students can analyze the different mechanisms and try to understand them in different light. The second point that I'd like to point out is the analysis part. The analysis part is a part wherein the students have to find velocities and accelerations of the different linkages with the help of diagrams. Now let us take a look at this velocity diagram. We'll just go to edit sketch. Now this have not made it into a complete mechanism. You can see that it is still just a sketch. And this sketch, for this sketch, I have provided with some of the constraints, the dimensional constraints, as well as some other geometric constraints. And when I'm moving this mechanism, you can actually see the velocity diagram is dynamically moving, providing us with the velocities at each given position. Fine. So if you want to find the velocities at a particular angle, all we have to do is take dimensions from the toolbar and select the two links between which we want the angle. At this angle, we just have to feed to whatever value we want it. Like I'm feeding for now 50 degrees. As soon as I feed the angle, the position will change to reflect the 50-degree angle. And the velocity diagram here will automatically take the shape, giving us the velocities of the other points that we want to find out. Fine. So this way, dynamically, at different positions, we can analyze the velocities, not only velocities, if we are able to build an acceleration diagram and constrain it properly using all the rules, we can also have a very good look at how the acceleration will vary at different positions. So I think one of the assignments that I like giving to my students is to give them a problem and telling them to analyze the variation of velocities of another point anywhere on the mechanism by either using mathematical way, that is the algebraic way, or by going into the software, building the sketch properly and noting the velocities down at different positions and trying to connect that graph using a smooth curve. So this way the students, this kind of analysis cannot be tested with the 3-hour sessions of exam. And I think this method of giving the micro projects, that's what I call them, this will develop and enhance the understanding of the students and take their imagination much beyond mere calculations that they are able to do in the class. And because of the huge amount of calculations required, they cannot do a lot of calculations in the class. And the technology has made these calculating part automated, and that's how the students can make the best use of it to do much more in less time compared to what our teachers were able to do. There is one last thing I'd like to show here. This is something that I learned very recently, and I was in fact much more in doubt, and only after I created this mechanism in the software that I was able to understand it properly. There's something in the syllabus of Osmania University students called as the Roberts Law. Even though we have the Roberts straight line mechanism in almost all the universities, Roberts Law is something which I myself didn't study when I did my student in my student days, and even while I was teaching the students in JNTU, I never came across this law. But when I came across it the first time, when I was teaching the Osmania University students, that's where I came across it for the first time. And the law was very difficult for me to understand. And the standard reference books were not able to help me much when it came to this particular law. Luckily, a local book which provided solutions to the previous papers had a good enough explanation to it. And you can see that a copy of it, a scanned copy of it, I have uploaded to the software. And by taking this diagram as a reference, I was able to build a rough, a mechanism of it. And this is how it functions. It's actually very difficult to keep it operational for a much longer period of time. I just try to move it slightly for a small angle. Okay. So Roberts law is a law which tells us that the coupler curve, this link that we have in a 4-bar mechanism is called as the coupler. And any point on the coupler, the path traveled by this point is what is called as the coupler curve. Now the textbook allows us to algebraically derive a formula and calculate the coordinates of this point as the mechanism takes different positions. Now what the Roberts law tells us is that the same coupler curve, any coupler curve defined by any given 4-bar mechanism can also be exactly traced by 2 more such 4-bar mechanisms. Fine. So when you try to see the definition itself, it's slightly more confusing, but here is what it means. So you can see here that this link, I'm just highlighting them. This set of links, they define one of the 4-bar mechanisms. This is the first 4-bar mechanism. And this triangular element over here, this completely is called a coupler, because this completely, it's like a structure and no 2 points on it can have any relative motion with respect to each other. So this is first 4-bar mechanism. Now the path that is traveled by this point is called as the coupler curve. Fine. The path on which that is moving, that is called as the coupler curve. Fine. Now there is a second 4-bar mechanism which I am now highlighting. You can see here. So this highlighted set of links form the second 4-bar mechanism, and this mechanism also, all the links have been constrained properly. Now when I'm moving this, one of the linkages, this point that you see, this is a point which is shared commonly by both the mechanisms. Shared commonly by both these 4-bar mechanisms. And you can easily see that the same path is traversed by both the linkages. Similar to this, we can have one more such 4-bar mechanism using these 2 points, using this and this. Using these 2 points, we can make one more set of 4-bar mechanism that will definitely follow the same coupler curve. So this is a much more complicated mechanism. There is also a simpler set of mechanisms that you can see around here. Yeah. So this is a much simpler version of that same mechanism. You can see I have made this using an equilateral triangle, and the path that is traversed by this point is the path of the equilateral triangle. It will not follow that exactly because the Roberts mechanism is not one among the exactly straight line mechanisms, but it will approximately try to trace the same path. So this is one of the 4-bar mechanisms, taking these 2 points as the frame. Now the same mechanism, if we take a different set of fixed frame, this is how it will behave. So you can see here, even this mechanism is traveling along the same equilateral path. Right? There is a third mechanism also that's moving along the same here. Okay. And the path traveled by this point in all the 3 mechanisms will coincide, is what the Roberts law tells us. So that's what I have tried to put together over here. It's very, very complicated. So when it starts moving, you have to keep your attention very concentrated to find out, to make out with 3 different mechanisms. Okay, so this is how it's moving. Let's move it straight down. Yes. Let's put this down. Okay. Okay. So this is how the point moves. So this point, if you see, the 3 points located on all the 3 mechanisms, I have constrained them with coincidence, and still they're able to move independently, which means that the path traversed by the coupler point is exactly same for all the 3 mechanisms. So there is a lot that I'm working on, and I'll be putting them on my YouTube channel. I'll share my YouTube link in the WhatsApp group, and also on the same YouTube, a recording of this session that we conducted just now will also be uploaded. And so I'd suggest you to subscribe to the channel and stay and hit on the notification bell, so that whenever I upload any video to the YouTube channel, you can always go back and take a look at the video whenever you're free. So I think the time that we had decided is almost over. We just have half an hour more, and I'll just continue for 15 more minutes, and then I'll start taking the questions one by one. And at 1 p.m. as we planned, we will stop the session. So let me cover up. Yes, the epicyclic gear train. So this is another of the topics which the students find a little difficult. Actually, it is one of the easiest topics when it comes to the exam point of understanding and being able to solve the problems, because the questions on it, once understood, can easily be solved by the students by just using a simple table which is present in the method of solving is given in the textbook. But again, when it comes to imagining how the object actually functions, that's where the students face a lot of difficulty, and that's where the software can help us visualize it in much better way. So you can see here that this part, the blue one, is the frame, and the red one is called an arm. The arm, you can see, is freely rotatable about the same point. You see in 3D, this is how it is arranged. So first of all, we have the blue part. First of all, we have the blue part. Then in the middle, we have this arm for some thickness, followed by the green spur gear, which is at the topmost. And this arm is having a pin like this at the other end, which allows another smaller pinion gear, which is called as the planet gear, to be placed on it. So not only is the green gear able to rotate, but independent of this motion, the arm is also able to rotate. So this is the kind of motion that we see around here. So the number of degrees of freedom that we have here are actually 2. So in exact sense, according to the definition, it's not exactly a mechanism, but more like a kinematic chain. And out of this, we can get different inversions by fixing different lengths. So by fixing this inner gear called as the sun, we get one of the inversions. Similarly, by fixing the arm, we get another of the inversions. When the arm is fixed, you can see that these two gears, they behave as if they are simple spur and pinion gears, whereas when the inner green link is fixed and the red link is allowed to rotate. Yeah, the red link is allowed to rotate. This is the kind of motion that we see. So this is just the first set of mechanism that I built, and as usual, you can say this is still a work in progress, and I'm developing it further by trying to introduce the annular wheel. And for every problem that we are facing, that every problem that we have in the textbook or in the previous exams, I will definitely try to make a mechanism for that, and I'll be solving the problems of that as well in the future. So this is the epicyclic gear trend that I wanted to talk about. And I think we still have a lot of time. I'll go ahead and check out the constraints. Even this is actually a work in progress, so I'm still working on this. So there are the different types of constraints provided in the textbook, and here you can see 3 of these. The first one here is a joint with a single degree of freedom, which is called as the sliding joint, or you can also call it as the prismatic joint. Fine. So you can see that this red prism can slide freely inside the green frame that is fixed. So there is only 1 degree of freedom that it has, that is to and fro motion. It cannot rotate. It cannot rotate like this about this axis, or like this about this axis, neither can it rotate like this about this axis. Neither it can move along any other direction than this forward and backward motion, neither up and down nor sideways. So 5 degrees of freedom for this link that you can see here, they have been constrained, and only 1 degree of freedom is free for it, that is this direction, that is forward and backward motion. So the students can this way get to understand the 6 degrees of freedom very neatly here in this software. So this kind of visual representation of the degrees of freedom, it's not as refined as we find in this Onshape when compared to any other CAD package. And that's one of the important things, and that's one of the things that attracted me to this software to begin with. Let us go for this one next. So here you can see there are some collars on both the sides. There are some collars on both the sides so that the link cannot move back and forth. Fine. So if you just hide this. This is how the mechanism looks like. So there is a hole of this shape, and there are 2 collars on the 2 sides. And when the mechanism moves, it can only rotate inside this. And this joint, as you might know from the subject, it is called as a revolute pair. A revolute pair. Fine. It can only rotate about 1 axis. And once again, when you see the different degrees of freedom, it cannot rotate about any other axis. It can only rotate about this 1 axis. The other 2 axis rotations, they have been constrained. They have been constrained. So these 2 rotations have been constrained. Not only that, but also motion along all the 3 directions, the X, Y, as well as the Z direction. The motion along these 3 axes is also completely constrained. And finally, coming here, this is a slightly tricky part for the students to understand. A small part of the students always have this doubt in their mind that even though this particular mechanism can move in 2 directions, it can rotate, and as well as it can move inside and outside the green part. Right. So many of the students, they almost always ask me in the class, sir, even though this mechanism it's able to move in 2 different directions, how come you can say that it still has single degree of freedom? So my explanation always is that even though it can move in 2 directions, it can rotate as well as move inside and outside, but these 2 motions are interdependent. They're not independent. Right? So that when it tries to move inside or outside, it has to revolve, and when it tries to revolve, it has to move inside and outside. So both these motions cannot happen independent of each other, and that is the main reason why even this mechanism is also called as the as a joint with single degree of freedom. So this is comparatively very simple set of mechanisms. Now here you can see, if you have referred to Ratan Tata, in that book, he has tried to explore almost all kinds of joints. There are a total of 6 degrees of freedom, and he has tried to reduce the degrees of freedom 1 by 1 by getting different degree of freedom constrained at different points of time, and try to show how the mechanism actually functions. So this is what I have tried to do over here. So here you can see a yellow platform, which is actually the fixed part, and on this top surface, in contact with the top surface, we have these 2 linkages. And let us try to analyze what are the degrees of freedom of these linkages. Coming to the green part first, you can see that it can, okay, let's constrain it properly. So it can rotate about this axis. It can also rotate about this axis, and also it can rotate about this axis. So 3 rotations, 3 degrees of freedom concerned with rotation are free. None of them are constrained. Now let us try to see what are the degrees of freedom when it comes to motion. So motion, let us see it in top view. So this mechanism, this link, it can move in up and down direction as well as left and right direction. But when you try to move it in vertical direction, it's not possible because it cannot break the contact point here, which is technically making it a joint. Because it cannot break this joint, it cannot leave the surface contact, because once it leaves the surface contact, it will no longer be a joint. So this particular joint between these two links, the yellow link and the green link, it shows us a joint which is constraining only 1 degree of freedom, that is the motion. Coming to the second one, so here you can see a simple cuboid, the pink cuboid you can see, and let us try to analyze what are the degrees of freedom left for it. So rotation in this direction has been constrained. Rotation in this direction also has been constrained. So 2 constraints already applied. Whereas it is free to rotate about this particular axis. So 1 degree of freedom in rotation is still there in it. Then coming to motion, just like the green part, it can move up and down. Let's have a look at it in the top view. It can move up and down, and it can move left and right. But when we again try to separate the contact, it won't do it. It is moving sideways when I try to drag it upwards, but you can see it is not ready to leave the contact, because once it leaves the contact, it's no longer a joint. So here you can see that 3 degrees of freedom have been constrained, and the joint still has 3 degrees of freedom left with it. So in Ratan, there are a lot more of such mechanisms, and each mechanism tries to constrain different degrees of freedom. This is another one wherein there is a hollow pipe. You can see here I have made it a slightly transparent so that you can see what is inside of it. And here you can see a linkage. I wasn't able to constrain it properly because it's actually moving sideways. I'm yet to find a solution for it, and that's the reason actually why I said I had actually planned to exclude this from the webinar, but since we had some time, I'm showing it to you. In future, of course, once it is perfect, I'll be uploading it to the YouTube channel. This link here, it's almost perfect. So you can see that it's able to rotate it. It's able to rotate inside the hollow, and also it's able to move sideways. Okay. So this is another kind of joint. There are many more joints, like here you can see the spherical joint, which has 3 degrees of freedom, free when it is doing with the rotation. But all the 3 degrees of movement have been constrained. Whereas here, 1 degree of freedom for rotation has been constrained, while it continues to have while it continues to have 2 degrees of rotation, and none of the movement degrees of freedom are free for it. So I think that's enough for this session. and we are almost done with our session time. And it's time for us to receive the questions. So if any of you have any questions, you can start raising your hand, and I'll unmute you. And when you're unmuted, you can start asking your questions. So first to raise your hand is Yatendra Vinod. Hello? Vinod sir? Vinod sir, you are unmuted. You can ask your question. Hello? Yes, if anyone else is having any doubts, you can raise your hands. Hello? I see that no hands are raised, so I'm assuming that either I was very clear or I was not at all clear with it. In any case, the video of this will be uploaded. Yes, Shafi, Mr. Gauhar Shafi has raised his hand. Shafi sir. Shafi sir, have you received a notification to unmute yourself? I'm trying to unmute you, but you have to unmute it from your end. Rajnikant sir. Hello?
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Very nice explanation, sir. Really, we are very happy by your presentation.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, actually, can you show at least one diagram how we can draw the linkage mechanism if possible?
Actually, the session is almost over, sir.
Okay.
I would recommend you to log into my YouTube channel. On that,
Okay.
I'll be posting a lot of videos on how to model the different softwares. And also, after the webinar, I'll share you a link wherein Onshape itself is having free learning, learning pathways, it calls it. So you will have videos with professionals explaining the different commands, how to use the commands, and you will be asked a few questions at the end of each video, which if you are able to answer, you'll also get a certificate for yourself. In fact, if you can see here, I'm showing you some of the certificates that I have earned myself. Okay. So these are the certificates for which I have completed the full course. And I can always go to view certificate and download that. The certificate not just shows me what was the topic I covered, when I covered it, and it just is a certificate of completion. The only disadvantage here is it doesn't give me a grade, but it surely tells the person that I have completed the certificate. So this is the place from where you can access it. Just beside share, you can see learning center is there. You can click there and you will be taken straight away to the learning place. I hope I have answered your question, sir.
Yeah, Srikant sir.
Yes, sir.
Srikant sir.
Sir?
I think in the chat there are some questions also are there. I think you can go because that also may be clarified.
Sure, sir. Sure.
And also, as some of the faculty people are chatting that they are asking us to share the feedback link. So immediately after the session, maybe the feedback link will be shared. And after receiving the feedback, we will through mail, we can send the certifications.
Sure, sir. Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Mr. Manzoor Mirza, please unmute yourself. Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Good afternoon, sir.
Hello, sir. Please increase your volume, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Thank you very much for your very nice and new information. My question is it a free software, sir, Onshape?
Yes, sir. It's completely free. And you can also create an educational account which has some added benefit. The added benefit is that whatever models you create, that will remain personal to you. It will not be shared to anyone. As if you create just a simple, a free account, then whatever models you create will be freely shared so that anyone can access them.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
But when you create an educational account, the developer only asks you to not use it for professional purpose. You can continue to use it for academic purpose freely as long as you want it. So you should not just use it for professional cases. If you are trying to use it that way, then they can put some case on you. That's the only problem.
Sir, one more thing, whether some standard mechanisms are available for the demonstration on this?
Actually, the community is very, very big, sir, there. And a lot of people like me will be continuously making mechanisms. Not only teachers, but also professionals and also students will be making a lot of mechanisms. We can just search the mechanisms, just like Google. If there is a search bar in it, we can search, and whatever mechanisms, whatever models are publicly available, we can easily access them. You can also make a copy of them for your personal use and modify it further.
Okay, sir. Sorry, one more question, sir. Actually, you discussed about the velocity diagram.
Yes, sir.
Actually, any video is available for the acceleration diagram? How to generate the acceleration diagram?
Acceleration diagram is actually a bit more complicated. Not done it till now, but I am definitely planning it for future. So if you are subscribed to the video, definitely you will get it at some point of time.
Okay, okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Next, Mr. Raja.
Sir,
Mr. Raja, raise
Raja,
your hand.
please unmute yourself, sir. Mr. Raja, can you hear me? Please unmute yourself. I think, yes, sir.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon. I'm Raja.
Good afternoon, sir.
Just again, I want to ask about the softwares only. Can you name the software which should be downloaded in our system so that it can be
For
useful?
this, there is no download required, sir. You can just go to onshape.com
Okay.
and you can start using it just the way you use Gmail.
Okay. Okay,
No,
sir.
no
Okay, sir.
installation needed. Just need a supported browser. So it
Yes.
works best on Chrome, and to some extent on Firefox also it will work perfectly.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
And if the system configuration is very low, there may be some problem, and you may have to enable WebGL to function properly.
Okay, sir.
That's the only requirement.
Thank you very much, sir. Your presentation was excellent, and I appreciate you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, sir. Thank you. I'm glad that you liked it, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Next, Mr. Rahul Shivansh. Please unmute yourself.
Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Hello, sir. Yes, sir. You're audible, sir.
Yes, sir. I have a small doubt in animation of links.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, hello.
Yes, sir.
In animation of links, you could you showed how we could animate it, but I have one small doubt. Can we measure the speed? Can we also give the speed of rotation of the links?
Speed of rotation from analysis point of view, you cannot give it.
Yeah.
Right now, the capability of it is just for the sake of watching it, watching the
Okay.
motion of the different linkages.
Okay.
If you want the velocity, you can always go to the velocity diagrams and try to build it up.
Okay, sir.
So is that the only doubt?
Yeah, that's only.
Okay, sir. Next, Gauhar Shafi Bhat. Please unmute yourself, sir.
Hello, Srikant.
Hello, sir. Yeah.
How are you?
I'm fine, sir.
Yeah, the presentation was really nice and very informative. I have a very basic question. For
Yes, sir.
example, if we draw some CAD part into this Onshape,
Yes, sir.
is it then possible for me to transfer it to some analysis software like ANSYS and others,
Definitely.
so that I can do the analysis, force analysis, heat transfer analysis?
Definitely. You can always do it. In fact, it supports a lot of different versions of the software. You just have to right click at the bottom and you will get an option to export it.
Secondly, does this Onshape developer team give me the possibility to make my CAD these models in here, then publish a paper on this basis into this without any license and all?
I think they will not have any problem with that because we are not using it for professional version. For academics, it's free, is what I believe. But I'm yet to confirm it from them. I've not asked them. But if we send a mail to the people, I think they're very supportive. They will always answer to me. Like, for example, for a machine drawing, we have a diagram called universal joint. We teach the students to draw the assembly of that. When I tried to create that part here in Onshape and tried to animate it, I was facing some problem.
Okay.
So when I asked the team about it, they were able to contact me back and told me that the design itself was wrong.
Okay.
In fact, book that we consider standard, KL Narayana, it's having this assembly, and the assembly, if we put it together, it's not even functional. So when I modified that part, and then when I tried to animate it, it was working perfectly. Of course, the team is very supportive. You can always ask the questions to them.
Okay, I'll look out on that myself, but I have a very small request here for you and your team. If it is possible for you to make arrangements for some more sessions onto this at advanced level from your side.
Definitely. HOD sir is here, director sir also. I think he has watched it.
Already informed you at the beginning. As we are planning web series, we are doing this as a part of, this is the first part of the web series. It is enhancing the teaching learning experience using CAD tools. This first part is on kinematics of machines. It has been done. The next part maybe on the, as Srikanth sir told, the machine drawing will take up, engineering graphics also we are going to take up. So all these CAD CAM tools, how best we can use for our mechanical engineering subjects, those things can be presented in this web series.
Okay, thank you sir, thanks a lot, thank you.
Okay sir, next Miss Aruna Jyoti, please unmute yourself ma'am.
Yeah sir, very good afternoon sir, it's a very informative session. Actually simultaneously, can you hear me sir?
Yes, please.
Yeah, simultaneously I'm trying to trying to log in this Onshape.
Yeah.
While I am going for sign in, it is asking some professional, Onshape professional. Can I sign up with this, sir? You told that, as you said earlier, it is like academic only, no?
Yeah, you can go for the free account first.
Okay.
Professional version will cost a lot. It's actually software as a service. Yes.
Okay.
That means on a monthly basis or yearly basis, you have to pay it. So only as long as you're paying, it will remain for professional use to you. And as soon as
for free version, how can we sign up, sir?
You will always get a free version option when you are signing in. You will get the free version option.
It's asking like sign up, but it's going for professional. If I go for sign up, it is asking try Onshape professional. It is showing link first.
Sign up.
It is directly connecting to professional.
Yeah, first option is professional trial. Second option, you can see it is educational account. And there is a third option called public maker plan.
Okay. We need to sign up in educational account, sir.
That's the best. For us. That's the best.
Yeah, but we can use same thing for our students, no, to give explanation on this.
Yes, definitely. We can whatever models we create, we can share it with the help of a link. So when you share the link to the students can open the same model on their mobile and they can interactively check how it operates.
Okay. Thank you, sir. That's it for my end.
I think there are no more doubts. Nobody is raising their hands. Once again, I'd like to thank everyone for patiently attending this webinar. I hope you have all enjoyed it. And you will let more and more people come to know about this web series, so that in future we'll get more number of
Srikant sir. Srikant sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so we can even any other doubts are there, we can ask them to mail directly to you, or as you said, they can subscribe the YouTube channels also.
Yes, sir.
And the feedback, please share with all the people. Once we receive the feedback, the e-certificates can be mailed to their respective mails.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah.
Within 5 minutes, I'll share the links for feedback.
Yeah, yeah.
And also, I'll share them my mail ID and YouTube channel link also. I'll share it.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. If there is no more questions, then we can end up this session. And very much thankful to Srikant sir for giving excellent presentation and how to use these CAD tools for explaining the very tough subject, actually, kinematics of machines. It is difficult to understand the concepts because visualization is more important. So even earlier days also people used to make physical models to explain this forward chain mechanism or whatever it is. But now with our language, mechanical engineering language, we can say this CAD now has become our language. So with this CAD tool, we are able to explain the concepts and it is become easy for the students to learn those things. Thank you very much for giving this wonderful lecture. And also I thank our principal sir for encouraging us to take up this webinar and welcoming all the participants, and our director sir also for giving nice presentation about the department and for your active participation as well as making us to present all these things, sir. Thank you very much. And also all the participants.
1 minute, sir. So participants are requested not to leave the group yet. There is one small poll to be conducted, and after the poll is conducted, you can leave.
Yeah.
So
is it ready?
It's ready. Just I'm sharing it.
Yeah. Okay.